Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest real estate investment show ever. Here's the flip-flop investor himself, Todd Bayer.
Hey everyone, how we doing out there today? This is the Flip-Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip-Flop Investor himself. Every week we get together and talk about real estate investing, and I like to bring on a local expert, or sometimes I bring on new people, that are new to the industry and are just learning to get started here. But we talk about real estate investing, what it is they do, and sometimes we'll even do a call-in show. A very special guest, one of our longest-standing fans of the show, has probably heard every episode. He's been on the show a couple times, and he's the 2016 Flippy Award recipient. He is also the one of the mentors of the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, and just a good contractor, good guy. I mean, Danny Ruiz, how you doing, Danny?
Doing great. I'm excited to be here. I love that intro. This is my favorite show to watch online. So
show to watch?
Every Thursday I'm plugged in, and I get a little disappointed when the YouTube doesn't post for like 3 days.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
but I'm always looking for it. But you can always do it online. They have where you can download it live stream, or you can get it right away. So
yeah, they got the they got the what do you call it? The podcast.
The podcast.
Yeah, you can get it on KCAARadio.com.
Yep.
Look for the Flip Flop Investor Show. We're obviously the #1 ranked real estate investing show on KCAA Radio, which is something we're very proud of. That we're the #1 ranked real estate investing show on KCAA. And that's not fake news, because we're also the only real estate investment show on KCAA.
Well, there you go.
So that's how we got it. Yeah, it was
number
pretty
one
amazing.
is #1, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're waiting for a competitor. If you want to compete and put up your own real estate investment show, call me. We'll get you set up as a radio broadcaster. I know it's what most people have always dreamed of doing. If you got a face like me, it's perfect for radio. So anywho, Danny, you're a contractor.
Yeah. Been doing it for about starting out in the business. You see, people that know what they're doing, people that don't know what they're doing, and when you just get started, you don't know yourself what you're doing and what you should or should be doing. So, those are kind of the things when you look back, you're like, man, I can't believe some of the stuff I used to do.
I know. Have you ever gone back to your old school days and read your old homework or something like that? Have you ever done that before?
Pretty similar, yeah. I mean, with the bids that I used to put together.
Oh, yeah.
We used to go to Staples and get the 3 carbon copy, from Staples, and we'd hand write out the bid. And
wow.
You'd see eraser marks on and pricing next to it. I don't know how these customers even used to go with us. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's funny because I've met so many contractors in the business, and they've all had kind of a similar story where they're like, I can't believe I even got hired to do any jobs back when I first got started. Looking back on their organization now.
Oh, yeah.
One of my old partners, he told me that. It was he was because he builds cabinets. So
right.
he was like a high school kid building cabinets for people. He's like, I can't believe people actually trusted me to go into their home and build them a set of cabinets. It's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because looking back, you see why you got hired on some jobs.
Yeah.
And it's not so much because you have good writing or you know what you're doing. It's just your price is very much in line with what people want to pay. I had this client tell me one time, my dad and I were out bidding on the project, and we always like to give them a price to where we can kind of gauge whether or not they want to go with us. And so we went out to the truck and we run our numbers and we kind of argue back and forth. Oh, we don't need to do this. Yes, we need to charge this. Mm-hmm. My dad always wanted to charge a lot more than I did because I always wanted to just get the job.
Right.
And we go back into the kitchen. We're like, okay, we're thinking it's going to be around $8,000 for your kitchen and bathroom. And they're like, okay, that sounds great. Do you guys want to start right now?
Yeah.
We're going, we probably didn't charge enough.
Yeah, you didn't charge enough. If they're that excited. Yeah.
There's different cycles of contractors that you can identify with now. So you can kind of see where somebody's at in their cycle as a contractor. And so if you want to get a really good deal, then, if somebody that's been a contractor for 1 year, 2 years, you're probably going to get the best deal. You may not get the best quality, but the pricing is going to be better. If somebody's in the business for 20 years, you're probably going to get a little bit more reasonable pricing, but maybe, the experience is going to be there. So
yeah, and they're I've dealt with my fair share of contractor headaches. So usually having somebody with experience comes with its set of not having headaches. Which is nice. I know, because on that property you won the Flippy on, the one out in Diamond Bar, on that property, we had never worked with you as a contractor up until that point. So we just kind of put it up to our faith in you
That's
as a
right.
person, because we had talked everything. You definitely sounded like you knew what you were talking about,
Yeah.
but
You don't really know.
I've met plenty of charlatans out there that sound like they know what they're doing and then just completely wet the bed,
Yeah.
when it comes time. But I mean, you ran that job, and it was completely headache free for us, and we were just impressed, like beyond like what we could, like what we expected to see happen. You beat out all of our expectations. So it was,
Well, that's good.
no, and it's hard to find a good contractor. Most people out there, that's one of the major things that we get asked from people, like, do you know any good contractors? I'm like, yeah, I do, but they're busy.
Yeah.
Like they're hard to get right now. So,
Yep. And I think there's definitely a gap, in doing what we do in real estate investing. You have to acquire the property, you have to fund the property, and now you have to rehab the property.
Right.
And if you can't put all those pieces of the puzzle together, you're going to have a hard project. So,
Right.
And dealing with contractors, we're investors, so we're not looking to pay full retail. We
Of course
can't
not.
we can't have a contractor making a 30-40% profit margin on a job.
Right.
Otherwise, they're the only ones making the money. So it's trying to find that contractor that you can still make money off of, but you're still going to get the quality that you expect. And
Right.
you guys have a pretty good system down. And
It's
I
pretty
think that
good.
was, even working with you guys, it was helpful. And I learned a ton from Mike and from you and from Steven on, the little things to do and not to do on a construction project.
Yeah.
Different from, I was a residential contractor, commercial contractor, but being in the flip investing side of things, you do things a little bit differently than just
Right.
being a normal contractor.
I remember one thing that came up during the Diamond Bar project was you wanted solid core doors.
That's right.
On all the interior doors. You
Yep.
wanted them all to be solid core.
Yep.
Because they're going to have that more heavy feel. It feels like a more substantive kind of thing.
Sure.
But we were like, no, it's not going to it's not going to send a buyer away if we put hollow core doors in, and they're obviously a lot cheaper. So
Yeah, much cheaper.
but I think in the end, some solid core doors ended up in there, right?
Well, there were some things that like you guys didn't want to do, and you're like, okay, well, do it if you think it's important, and But looking back, that house was a nice house, but it wasn't $1 million property to where it would
Right.
definitely need those super high end finishes. So it's deciding, really being real with yourself, like what's the level of the finishes that you need
Yeah.
in that property. I know you guys
Who's the
working on a
buyer?
project. Yeah, who's the buyer?
And what are they going to really
Yeah.
want? Are they, do they, like in that house, it's a starter home.
It's a starter home,
Really
yeah.
is. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right?
4-bedroom, 2-bath.
It was 4-2. Okay, so yeah, I mean it's a starter home or maybe like a move-up home, for somebody.
Yep.
But it wasn't. It definitely wasn't like the dream home for somebody. This was just
Right.
a regular tract home in a neighborhood. It wasn't.
I think the buyer on that property, it was a couple that lived in LA. They had purchased their property in like 2005.
Okay.
So now they probably had like a few $100,000 in equity because they were able to ride the wave of the cycle, of the real estate cycle.
Right.
So I think they sold their house for $1.1 million, which
Wow.
was like a small 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
They moved to Diamond Bar, spent $715,000, but they were able to get a little bit bigger house than what they're able to get in LA, but they had to sacrifice the commute. That was kind of the
Right.
the
But
situation with that.
that seems to be like what a lot of people end up doing. I mean, most people kind of take that urban lifestyle they've had out in LA and they start moving to the suburbs. It's just something people tend to do, but you get so much more.
Yeah.
It was probably a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house they had in LA, and maybe no backyard,
Yeah.
or maybe just like a little patch of grass or something.
Exactly. They had 2 young kids, and they see that equity, and they're like, well, honey, you got to drive a little bit further to work. And
Yeah.
he goes, okay, no problem.
Get your books on tape ready.
Exactly.
See, I don't have much of a commute. I think if I did, I would just listen to books on tape all the time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can only hear the same songs over and over again so many
no, you
times. So, okay, you're working on 3 projects right now. 2 of them are yours, right?
Yep.
2 of them are ones that these are your deals that you're working on, but you're working on one for another client. Is that
2 of them, I'm joint venturing with a investment group out of LA called Dossier Capital.
okay?
They do probably, I think right now they have about 30 projects going.
Wow.
And one of the projects I'm working for them as a contractor for them on one of their other deals. So I'm actively just staying on top of those. And then I also have a few other projects that I'm working on.
Yeah, and on one of the projects you're doing right now, you're building an auxiliary dwelling unit.
Exactly. We initially, we didn't really have the intention of building the ADU, But then once we saw the numbers, it just made more sense.
Yeah. So walk me through a little bit. Like, what was the reasoning? Why did you guys think adding an ADU would be a good investment? Because you didn't go into it planning to do it. So
we had it as an idea, but we weren't really sure. Originally, when we budgeted, we were going to rehab the garage, rehab the front property, and we had thoughts about doing the ADU. And then once we really sat down and penciled the numbers in terms of what the project was going to cost versus what kind of return we were going to get, then it made more sense to continue with the ADU.
Yeah. And did the the permitting process is supposed to be a little bit faster, and these properties are in LA County, right?
LA County, yep.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be a little bit faster, streamlined for ADUs in LA County, but
they're supposed to be.
Did you find it to be streamlined? Or
they're not necessarily faster. There are certain guidelines that they have to meet.
Yeah.
As far as the county,
we still have setbacks and
there's setbacks
like egress and all that stuff you still got to deal with.
That we have to deal with and you have to abide by. But I mean, if you abide by all that stuff, they pretty much have to let you do it.
Yeah, of course.
I know like Pasadena and certain cities, they're really making it tough for ADUs. But
was it more the historical society that's putting a block on them?
Yeah, and neighbors aren't really fancy with
Yeah, they don't like the idea of some tenant that's going to be moving in and they're going to bring the property values down and all this
you got
BS that's not substantiated.
Yeah, you have these neighborhoods that are super dialed in,
right?
$1 million, $2 million areas, and then now you have basically an apartment in the back.
Yeah,
for somebody to rent out or somebody to Airbnb, and that's kind of a lot of what's going on too. Like you can purchase a front house.
Yeah,
nobody really uses their garage. I mean, in the Midwest or New York, you park in the garage?
Yeah.
Really?
I do. Yeah, 2 cars.
Wow, you're a 1%er all the way.
I know.
That's good.
Yeah, but like I've driven up and down my street and I see people with their garage doors open. It's just full of boxes and stuff. But I don't like to keep stuff. If I don't use something, I get rid of it. If I don't need it, I don't keep it. Why do I have this thing?
Right.
I'm against all that. The pack rat hoarder. Like I've seen so many hoarder homes that I'm like.
Yeah, you've been into all these houses where you're like,
I am not going to be a hoarder.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want my house to look like that.
Exactly. Plus, I wouldn't want my kids to have to deal with it. Like after I die, like like they're going to have to deal with this mess that that Dad left behind. I don't want to have to leave a huge mess.
Yep.
If I could do it right, they'll have a nice little easy house to walk into.
Easy transition.
And maybe they wouldn't have to do a rehab on it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
that'd be nice.
That'll be a little while from now, I'm thinking. But they're so the ADU process. It's similar to any kind of new construction. You still got to go through the plans and permitting stage. You still got to drop, full. You got to get a full set of
full
blueprints.
set of plans. Yep. Full set of blueprints. You have to have. There's weird things like you have to be a certain distance from like a bus station.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I didn't know that one.
Somebody could be. They want to make sure that if somebody doesn't have transportation, they don't need to have a car to live there.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to have a certain amount of parking requirements. But if you don't have parking requirements and there's a bus station, then that's kind of a way to get around that.
Get around having so on this one, are you having to build like a separate parking space?
No,
like
everything you don't. In terms of an ADU, they don't require anything out of the norm in terms of parking.
Yeah. Versus
like if you had a multifamily, you'd have to have a certain amount of parking. Either a structure or a garage or in the driveway, because they just can't have everybody parking on the street.
Right. Well, they do anyway.
I
mean, these are in what city is
this? This is in city of Altadena.
Altadena. Okay. Yeah. Well, Altadena is a nice little city.
Yeah.
So they're. I guess you don't see a lot of people parking on the street in Altadena. It's not as bad as like parts of LA and Orange County.
Yeah. Some of the streets are a little bit narrower, so even if you do have a few cars on there, it makes it a little bit tougher to get by. But
right.
Most people don't park in their garage, so then why not just take that money that you're just using for storage? It's an expensive storage unit, really.
It really is.
Because you can probably get in that area. I think an ADU is you can probably get up to like $2,000 to $2,500 for just
rent.
A 1-bedroom ADU.
Is that what you're building? Is it a 1-bedroom, 1 bath?
A 1-bedroom, 1 bath.
You got a full kitchen in it.
Full kitchen, full bathroom.
800 square feet.
Yep.
That's a big 1-1.
Yep. It's gonna be probably between 600 and 800, depending on how things come back from the city.
Oh, so you haven't actually put a shovel in the ground
yet?
We're
still working with the city. We're probably about couple weeks away from getting that finalized.
Yeah.
But we're almost finished with the front house.
So
we'll be ready to rock and roll with the ADU as soon as
as soon as it comes in, then you're just foundation.
But we're back
framing.
and forth. They already approved the plan, so we're going to be good to go.
Yeah. Do you you're back for like corrections at this point?
Yeah, just like minor corrections, things like that.
Yeah, it always happens that way.
Yep.
So do you have a like did you get like an ADU plan, or did you like actually go to an architect and say we want to design something, or how'd you get the ADU design?
Well, the design for the ADU can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be. You just have to be. It just has to be more than 500 square feet and no more than, I think the numbers. I think it's 1,500. It can't be more than 1,500 square feet.
Okay.
So it has to be between 500 and 1,500. I'm not sure exactly what those numbers are. I mean, on the high end. I think it's 1,500. You know, they don't want you building a 5,000 square foot ADU in the back, and they don't want you building a 300 square foot, somebody sleeping in a closet. Right. So, in terms of the sizing, you're pretty much confined. In terms of the design, you're kind of able to do with what you want. The group that I'm working with, they have an in-house architect drafts person.
Oh, that's nice. That
is familiar with what's required, and so any of the new projects, I don't know exactly how many they've done. I think they've done probably 25, 30 of them now. So they're the real experts in terms of the ADU.
Right.
I'm kind of learning a little bit as I go, but it's for the most part basic new build construction.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Exactly.
And then are you making it look like another, like a little house, or
making it look like a little house? Yeah.
So it's gonna have like a gable roof, or what?
It has a gable roof. It'll have a front door. It'll have a slider. It'll have a kitchen window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna look cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So but obviously you guys are doing this because you think you're going to get a bigger sale price,
correct,
higher than what you're spending on the build.
That's correct.
So, what do you think the cost per square foot is going to be on the build for the ADU?
Let's see. In terms of square footage, we're probably going to be, we'll probably be upwards about 100, 120 a square foot
to build the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
There. So, it's not bad, but if everything pencils out, the return on the sale side is definitely going to be much better.
Yeah.
So, on the, if we're just selling the house, we'll probably get maybe another 20% return.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
And I think right now a lot of just regular buyers in general, and then also investors, there's not a lot of ADU properties that people can purchase that have, potential for cash flow in the back, or somehow can offset their mortgage.
Well, being able to bring in another $2,000 to $2,500 a month.
Yep.
I mean that'll help your your mortgage payment a little bit. I think.
Absolutely.
I think because there's a lot of people that did Airbnb back during the last crash, and that's kind of how they got started, was people renting out a room to help supplement their income to be able to make their mortgage payments. So it was, it's another thing. I think we're coming that way again, where prices are going to get really high.
Yep.
Rents in LA, the average rent in LA is $3,200 right now.
Yep.
I mean, it's insane. That's that would afford you a very nice home here in the Inland Empire.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Being able to pay $3,200 a month. So yeah, it's these ADUs are a big deal, and I know there's a lot of talks going out there about like tiny home regulations, stuff like that, because some of these crazy people out there want to start building tiny homes.
Yeah, that would be a great business to get into.
It would be, I think anybody with any brains would be building tiny homes right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's coming. It's real estate's going to change because we need affordable housing here. We need a lot more housing units in California. Mm-hmm. That's why our prices go up so fast. Because we have 500,000 home deficiency in California. We need like 500,000 more homes in California to prevent the supply and demand price increases that we always experience.
That's right.
So yeah, it's ADUs are a big thing. It's been talked about a lot lately. I know there's a lot of people in like LA that are buying motorhomes, like these old beat up motorhomes, and they're just kind of like moving them around and living in those. Mm-hmm. It's kind of becoming a problem. So ADUs are a good thing, but one of the hardest things I think to deal with is like what you just talked about a minute ago is your neighbors. The NIMBYs, the not in my backyard people.
That's right.
And it's tough. Like they're gonna have to release their inhibitions about this, because it's going to have to happen.
No, they have to. I mean, there's got to be affordable place for people to live, and people have to be able to maximize their space as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is people were doing it anyways.
Oh yeah. Well, how many illegal additions have you seen?
Yeah. So now when someone's able to convert that illegal addition into a legal addition, and actually now their property can appraise for more money, and they can refinance, pull some cash out, pay for college. There's a lot of good things that happens when you're allowed to maximize your property.
Yeah. And a lot of people too. I've met several people that have an ADU in their backyard or another unit, or like I had a friend growing up there. They had an apartment above their garage.
Right.
Like these other little units they've had, and their adult children come moving back. Like they'll go to college, they'll come back, and they end up moving into these units because now they have like a fiance or something like that, and maybe even having a kid.
Yep.
So, but they're living back at mom and dad's house, but they don't want to live in the house with mom and dad because mom and dad are just, a bunch of squares. And,
that's right.
You're too cool for school now, and so you want your own space. But so there's a lot of like these adult kids that are moving back home, and this is like a nice thing for them, is to have a unit in the backyard for the kid to live in.
Yeah, makes great sense.
With their fiance and their kid and their dog, that cost more than their car, and like all kinds of fun stuff that these kids do with their money. So ADUs are fun. Are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
This process?
No, it's a good process. It's a good learning experience going through it. It'll be really fun to see what the numbers look like, and how much more profitable it is on the investment side.
Yeah.
I think it's a good niche that they found, and they're able to maximize the dollars, especially as the market starts to slow down a little bit. It kind of gives you that differentiation between the house down the street or the other rehabber down the street. You have a really, really, really unique product that you're going to be selling. So if you can duplicate that model, I mean it's a way to kind of overcome the fears that people are having in terms of buying properties and rehabbing, and as things start to slow down a little bit, and properties don't sell as fast.
Well, it makes sense, because like right now, I don't know of any home builders that are building affordable homes. Like it's not a thing that most home builders are doing. It's so expensive right now, just because of all the fees and whatnot. It costs to just start breaking ground on a new housing development. Like it's crazy expensive. So it only makes sense for these home builders to be building big homes, like 2,500 square feet and up. Like I went to a new home builder in Mira Loma not that long ago, and their smallest model I think was an 1,800 square foot house, but the rest of them were like pushing to 3,000 square feet. I mean, these were large units. They had the one that was the single story, and it's kind of a weird design. I didn't really like the layout of the place, but that was my affordable home option, and it wasn't even that much cheaper than the other ones. It was kind of crazy how expensive
it's got to be, because why would the builder want to? I mean, they're in the business of making money.
Right.
There's not much motivation to build an affordable house.
Yeah,
I mean, just like, why would you? You're going to build, unless you're like some type of nonprofit that wants to build a house that somebody can buy for $200,000.
Yeah, and for that you probably need some kind of government grant or something like that.
Government subsidy,
some subsidies,
something like that.
Yeah, I think we just had 2 ballot propositions that just passed, which are supposed to be for grants for affordable housing. So we'll see how these things shake down. But I mean, obviously they just passed on Tuesday this week, so
it's not gonna be for about 15 years. Then
probably about 15 years. We'll see some of the money from that program.
Yep.
After all the politicians that put that together take their cut.
That's right.
But it'll be good. It's something that's needed. We need affordable housing. Like, I'm sure you've done a ton of like homes from the 1950s. These like old 2-bedroom 1-bath homes. Like these post-war homes that got built. Because we just had to build them fast and get them out there for all these soldiers returning home.
Yep.
And those were good homes.
Yeah.
I've dealt with probably at least 2 dozen of them, at least. And because we don't do a lot in like LA County, but the ones we have done, I think pretty much almost every single one was like a World War II 1950s built home.
Yep.
Or like 1948. There was like kind of a first wave and stuff. Yeah, there was those houses were nice. But like so many of those homes, like you go to and like there's a big addition off the back of them, because at some point somebody wanted more space.
Yeah, they're small.
Yeah, they are.
You've got the living room, bedroom, bathroom right there.
Yep, the bathroom
kitchen.
and the kitchen. Yeah, they're tiny. They're like 700 and something square feet. But I love them. There was pretty much when you're going to do these buildings, when you do an addition onto a property, we like to look at what are we selling it for, price per square foot. So let's assume we're selling it for $300 a square foot is what the sale price is. If we can build the addition for $100 a square foot, that makes sense,
right?
Because we're adding $200 a square foot of value to the property. So
that's right.
It's as long as the interest and everything kind of lines up with the build cost and all that, then we're good. It's a good project, and I've known lots of investors that they buy perfectly fine houses that don't even need a rehab, and all they do is build an addition. And they've done pretty well with it.
Yep.
It's not a model I ever adopted, but because my real background is not in construction, so like
that's right.
I'm still not like super comfortable like with the whole permitting process and all that, like because I never really did much of that. It was always my contractor. Yeah. So you're probably more comfortable with it.
Yeah, you'd have to be really comfortable with that construction process, and then also being able to control those costs. Because if you're buying something with the idea of converting it to create value, and your costs get out of control, you can end up writing a check at the close of escrow.
Yeah, we've done that too. That's no fun. We got a project we're gonna have to do that on here pretty soon. That's not gonna be fun.
It seems odd. Like that shouldn't happen, right?
It shouldn't happen, but I mean, I think I've talked about this property many times on the air and everything. It was a property we lent the money to a guy, and he he didn't do the project right, and we had to foreclose on him. And yeah, we're just finishing it. Actually, the house is done. It's on the market right now for sale. But once it's all said and done, we just did the numbers on it yesterday, and we're going to lose probably about $77,000 is what the check is. We're going to have to write at the end of that one. So it's a big hit. It's a big hit to us, but you got to do what you're supposed to do. Like we have a responsibility to our investor to make sure that project got done, and so we had to come out of pocket a lot of money to finish that project. And he'll get his interest, and hopefully he'll be very happy and sing our praises to everybody out there.
Yeah, definitely. You do something like that goes a long way.
Yeah. Hopefully he knows that it was not. It wasn't easy for us to have to come out of pocket for all that, because we had to come up with about $100,000 just to finish the rehab.
Right.
Because we had to pretty much rebuild this stupid place. So,
Yeah, that's a tough situation because you're out of pocket. Now you have to recoup your cash outlay, and then now you have another cash outlay that you don't get to recoup at the close of escrow.
Exactly. So that's going to be our property submission for the Floppy Award.
Floppy Award, yes.
This is the first year. We are. Yeah. I don't know if we will. I don't want to. We might. Because there's another, because like Jim Keller, he has a pretty bad deal they did this year too.
Right.
So I think there's gonna be a couple good submissions for the Floppy.
That's good. I like that.
For those of you that are like just now tuning in, this is the Flip Flop Investor Show. I'm Todd Bayer, the host. We have Danny Ruiz with us today.
How you guys doing?
He is the construction mentor at the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. And I'm talking about this Floppy Award and this Flippy Award.
Well, what is all that, and what's the club? And
see, where
do you go?
I know. There's so many questions that I'm not even answering. I need to get to these things. These people want to know, right? Everybody wants to know how to get involved in this. But the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club is it's a real estate investment club. It's just a bunch of real estate investors that get together every month, and we network together. We do deals together. It's pretty much the biggest in real estate investor community in pretty much Southern California. We're one of the largest ones out there. We get together one main monthly meeting at the Mission Inn every month on the fourth Wednesday of every month. This month, normally in November, we always have an issue with Thanksgiving, but this week the fourth Wednesday is after Thanksgiving. So
perfect.
It works out, and hopefully everybody's back in town, and starting their diet regimen, after the Thanksgiving feast. So,
that's right.
So we'll be at the Mission Inn on the fourth Wednesday. I believe that's November 28th this month. I should probably pull out my calendar. I don't want to say it wrong, but yeah, November 28th will be at the Mission Inn. It starts at 6 p.m. Unless you're a member, it starts at 5 p.m. And we go on until 10 o'clock, and then everybody kind of stays afterwards and talking, do more deals.
Talking deals.
Yeah, it's we pretty much closed the place down. So
it's a great club. It's a no sales club.
Yeah,
no up sales club. So if you want to just come be a part of a community of real estate investors and learn about real estate or share deals or share knowledge, it's a perfect environment.
Absolutely.
It's really how I got my start in this whole fun business. So
yeah.
I'm pretty fortunate to even be here. Us hanging out, us talking.
I know.
Yeah,
having a good time. So yeah, but you can get more information on meetup.com. Go to meetup.com and look up the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. You can also go to Google and just type Investment Club Riverside or Investment Club Inland Empire. We'll pop up. We're like the number one result on all these search engines for all this stuff. So yeah, come check us out. We have a lot of fun. We also have a coffee meetup.
Coffee right before, right?
Right before. Yeah, the Saturday before. But this week, this month, that's going to actually conflict because it's like the weekend of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
so
might not get too many.
We're going to do it the weekend before that, which is be November 17th.
There you go.
And I think we're going to be doing that at our office. We're going to be doing coffee there. We're going to bring in coffee and pastries and so on.
I like that.
Yeah, so people can come and have some coffee with us, come out and check out our office, hang out with us.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it might be kind of fun. It might also be a complete fiasco, disaster. We're going to find out. That's a lot of what we do. We just try stuff out, and this might be the last time we do it in our office. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, come on down. It's a lot of fun. Get to meet a lot of good people. And all the mentors are there to help. So Danny's going to help you guys if you have any construction-related questions or anything like that. He's there to help with construction. We've also got the other mentors that focus on flipping, that focus on short-term rentals like Airbnb. We have the creative finance, creative structure guy. He's there talking about mobile homes. Andy Teasley, he's been on the show before. And we have the long-term rental guy, Matt. He's there to help you if you want to get into like rentals, long-term holds, stuff like that. We have our realtor mentor, Lisa. She's there to help you if you have any realtor-related questions. It's just we have a ton of people out there to help. And so if you're new, looking to get into wholesaling or something like that, we've also got Charlie, who's the wholesaling mentor. So he's he'll be able to help you out if you want to go learn how to knock on doors and set up mailing campaigns and all kinds of good stuff that he does. So
no, it's great. I'm really looking forward to just sharing what I know and being able to help people in the club and people in the community with whatever construction, project management, rehab evaluation, property evaluation. I was just able to. It's a good story because I just came from KB Depot in the City of Industry.
Oh yeah.
From one of your friends from the club, Susan. She was looking to get some help on purchasing of the cabinets, and they didn't want to sell directly to her. So in order for her to get the discount, I had to go there. But as being part of the club, she was able to benefit from that cost savings. She probably saved maybe $1,000 or $1,500.
That's not bad.
So yeah, it was really good. So you definitely hooked her up. She said to say hello. By the way.
Okay. Well, hello, Susan. I'm sure you're listening too.
And I don't know what that cost saving was, Susan, but we can probably figure that out.
Yeah.
Hopefully it was more than that.
Hopefully it was more than that. Yeah. But still, it's like little things like that. I mean, there's tons of people in the club that have little specialized knowledge areas, and like Andy, he actually hit me to a place where you can get like repurposed paint.
Yeah.
Where they make specific colors you can get. What's the name of it doesn't matter. It's this place in Riverside, and you can get. I mean, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap
if there's
paint.
a place you want to look it up, Google it. I mean, they've got recycled paint there. You can grab literally, depending on the tone, 5, 6, 7 gallons, mix them all together, stir it up, and boom, now you got a color that you can paint your garage or paint your rehab, and it's going to cost you $100 to paint the whole house versus $700.
Right. Yeah, and like just little things like that. I mean, that's you talk about for like an organization like ours where we're going to do 60 homes in a year. Like that's a lot of money we're saving across a bunch of deals.
Yep.
So they're it's little tidbits you get from everybody. Plus, all the networking. There's so many people in the group that do deals together, where somebody finds it, somebody else brings in the money, and it's very cool, like to see all this stuff work because, and like me and Steven, that we're the organizers of the group, like we don't see as much business coming in from it anymore because we don't push it out there so much that we're like looking for deals from people. So we're you know, we brought in the mentors because we wanted the mentors to sort of pick up the slack that we weren't, you know, covering. Like,
right.
You know, because a lot of people were looking to us in the beginning. They're looking to us to like help them with
everything.
all their things. It's like we don't have time. Like we actually have an organization that we're running on the side.
Yep.
You know, like the club became like a full-time job. You know, we're both working like 8 hours a day for the club. You know, and it was it was tough because the club doesn't make money. It never was supposed to. It's you know, it's not a nonprofit, but it's basically a nonprofit because we've never profited. So, the club was just there. It became this huge community, and we love it. I'd hate to give it up if it ever came to the point where it was just, you know, a complete like bear of our time and just taking all of our time away from us. Like that, it'd be tough to give it up because I really enjoy it. It's
fun. It's fun having that community and being able to take a break from your day-to-day grind and get around other investors and talk shop, have some fun. Yeah,
a couple, you know, people drink a little bit, have a couple cocktails,
playing the piano. There's a guy there who likes to play the piano, so if you guys can make it out, he might be able to do a song for you.
Oh yeah. I don't take requests. No. No. So anyway, we were talking about construction before we went on the club for a while there, but the club, it's good information, it's good stuff to talk about. You know, that's what I think a lot of people that listen in, they already do come to the club, but there's probably some folks out there that are on their drive home right now and thinking, I hate my job, I want to do something else with my life. And
that's right.
You've probably seen those shows on TV, the house flipping shows, and you've probably thought, I could do that. Like that looks really easy, but the reality is it's not as easy as it looks. They make it look a lot easier on TV than it really is. Probably the hardest thing is deal finding, right?
Yep,
finding those deals.
Yeah, finding the deals the hardest because you finding the deals like the top of the pyramid, I guess you could say, and everything else kind of comes from that. So
yeah, if you have deals, everything else is there. You know, you can find the money for a good deal. You can find the contractors for a good deal. It's it's the deals. That's what starts it all.
That starts the ball rolling.
You were originally part of our accelerator program that we did, where we kind of talked about this on the drive over, where it was about 15 people I think we all had.
That's right.
And everybody was basically new, looking to get into this, and really it was like focusing on deal finding is what we really tried to focus most of the attention on, because that's where it is. That's where the business starts. So I know you had a bunch of success. That's how you ended up finding that first deal that we did together, and a lot of other people have had some success from that too.
Yeah, I think that program is really. I feel pretty fortunate to be able to come in to your guys' evolutionary process at that moment, because you guys, like you said, you guys do a lot of different things. You try a lot of different things, and you guys, for whatever reason, were motivated to do this accelerator program. And I was able to just be at the right place at the right time and take advantage of it. And what it allowed me to do was to really narrow my focus in on finding a deal. I mean, I was running a construction company at the time. I had always wanted to get into real estate, but if you don't know where to go or what to do, and you don't have $30,000 or $40,000 to spend on a course, it can be pretty darn tough. So, in hearing other top level performers preach across the board that you got to be around people that are doing what you want to do. And, you're the average of the 5 people you associate with most. Well, if you want to become that, then you better get around those people and start making it happen. So that was kind of the whole metaphysical, whatever you want to call it, just like create your own stars to align, and that's what it takes. And it's not hard. You just have to kind of believe in those systems and possibilities that, if all your friends are poor, you're probably poor. If all your friends are rich, but not to say that you can't be emotionally rich or spiritually rich, because everybody has different circumstances. But if you're striving to get somewhere, then there's clearly people that have already been there, done that. There's a lot of people on this planet, and we all tend to think that the world revolves around us,
right.
and we know everything that's going on in this world, but there's a lot of people out there that know what's up. So get around those people.
Yeah, very true. And it's tough, but a lot of times your personal network is really who either holds you back or propels you forward. At some point you do have to reinvent yourself.
Yep.
And you really have to look inside and say, who do I want to be spending my time with? Do I want to be spending time with this guy over here? He smokes weed all day, and he doesn't have a job, and he's on government assistance, and he's a loser. I mean, let's face it, the guy's a loser. Like he's not going anywhere in life. He has no ambition.
That's right.
He had that one cool thing he did back in high school, but it's. You got to ask yourself, should I be spending time around this person, or should I be spending my time around people who are out there doing things and, making it better, making the world better, making their lives better, impacting people around them. It's just that's who you want to be around. At least that's who I want to be around. I don't.
Yeah, me too.
I don't really like being around people that smoke weed all day. It's just not my thing. So,
yep.
I can certainly appreciate why people do it, but it's not. It's just. If that's all you're doing.
And we're so fortunate in today's society where everybody's so negative about today's society. And I think if you can look at it as being super fortunate that we have access at our fingertips on our phone to whatever we want, where we didn't have that. When you and I were growing up, we didn't have access to any of that. We were pretty much limited to the people around us, the five people around us, and whatever's at the library, right?
Yeah.
So you can go your whole life thinking things are a certain way and then realizing, no, it's really not that way. And why do some people have different opportunities is because of their environment and their situation and their surroundings.
Right.
Because we just didn't have access to people or knowledge that everybody has access to. So really it's tapping into, your passion. What are your passions? And then going after those passions. And everybody now has access to people that they can align with by just watching a podcast, watching a YouTube video, going to a meetup group. I mean, it's pretty awesome, the opportunity that we have, that everybody has today across the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely, there's definitely a lot of things that have improved. It's funny because we call it social media, right? The idea is to be social and all this, but it seems like so many people on like Facebook and all these things are just so miserable. Like they never have anything positive to talk about. Like, maybe it's just the people in my feed. I don't know. But it seems like every single thing on there is something just depressing. Oh, my day sucks. Like my dog ran away. All these terrible things that are happening to people. I'm like, who's gonna write? How come nobody's writing anything positive here? I know I'm not. I don't write anything on Facebook. I don't do anything on social media because I actually have a social media network, a social network that's a real life thing.
Exactly.
It's weird to me that people can exist completely digitally. And they don't actually interact with anybody face to face. It's weird to me.
Well, it's probably where we'll be in 20 years.
Probably. Yeah, where everybody's just going to be interacting online and you don't have to know how to speak anymore. You can just, Yeah,
I was telling my girlfriend, Francesca, I go, in about 20 years probably, we'll be sitting in a room, put our headphones on or our goggles and go to work that way.
Yeah.
You won't even have to leave your house.
It's possible. I mean, it's, there's already things coming that way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at a larger picture of things, commercial real estate is hurting in a way, with some of these large offices because, you don't need the admin. I mean, there was a time when you had to have a room full of typists, people that were typing stuff up. You had to file things. You had to keep all these things somewhere. There was a time where you really needed to have a large office if you're going to have any kind of a, professional organization. But it's those office sizes are they're quite a bit smaller, what you actually need nowadays.
Big time.
And you can outsource a lot of stuff, So some of these commercial office buildings are struggling because they've had to make smaller offices instead of having these big 10,000 square foot floors, all to one company. That one company is now condensed down to a quarter of that floor, and they have now 3/4 of that floor rented out to other people. It's it's because we're able to start doing more stuff online more efficiently. I still think it's amazing when you see these old rooms full of people on typewriters.
Yeah.
But that's how you had to do it. That was how you wrote documents.
That's right.
When the photocopier came out, that pretty much put a bunch of those typists out of business. I'm a typist. Well,
not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Now I'm an admin. Yeah, it's with your construction company, do you have a whole structure behind you too, where you have an accountant and all these other people that do stuff with it?
Yeah, I mean you need to, especially at certain levels of responsibility when it comes to fund control. I think that's one aspect of construction that I'm really starting to get a good handle on and starting to get understanding, because you're dealing with so much cash in and cash out on a weekly basis. You're having to pay subcontractors. You're having to buy material. You're having to project how much money you need. Unless you have a super big bankroll to be able to fund these deals on the construction side yourself,
right,
you have to be super mindful of where every penny's going. And, you have to perform in the construction and investment world. You have to perform based on completion of scope. So, the savvier investor, the more experienced investor won't pay the contractor unless, like, if you charge me $2,000 to finish the painting, then I'm going to come look, and when the painting's done, I'll give you your check for $2,000.
Right.
A lot of the contractors in the residential space, they do their draw phases based on 25% after 2 months, 50% after 3 months, 40, and it's arbitrary, and it's not even tied to any completion of any kind of work. So the homeowners has like 10% of their work done, but they've paid 90% of the money out to the contractor.
Yeah.
And the contractor starts having to take on other projects. So.
Yeah, and that's tough. Like that's how a bad contractor is born right there.
That's how a bad contractor is born right there. Exactly.
Yeah, Adam Carolla used to have that show called To Catch a Contractor? Yeah. Man,
that didn't stand very well, but I liked watching that show.
It was funny. I mean,
it was great.
These guys that and we hear about it all the time. People tell us in the club that they had a contractor that didn't do what he was supposed to do. I mean, this is Jim had that issue. Like we had that issue. That's why we're taking the big loss on this property out there, because just the wrong people working on a project that don't know what they're doing, and it's it can be pretty risky, because there's also liability that you carry as a property owner. If you're doing these rehabs and you're having a contractor do this work, I mean, you carry a liability for 10 years after the sale of that property.
That's right.
So, it's important that the people you're hiring are doing things correctly, because if there was a thing that somebody can find that you were negligent in, then you could actually have a serious problem on your hands down the road. People suing you for doing or not doing different stuff to the property. So work with good contractors.
That's right.
And it's not easy. I people ask me how to find them, and it's like you just have to kind of try a bunch of them out and keep really close watch on them at the beginning. And if at the first sight of a red light, of a warning sign,
you have to nip it in the butt. First signs of problems, you have to address it. I know, like with what you guys, having a construction manager in place, that's super helpful, because he can take on the responsibility of checking on the contractors. I know with Dossier, they go out to all their projects every Tuesday. So that kind of sets the precedence for, like, oh my gosh, what did we get done this week? Oh,
yeah.
the crew's coming through, and we haven't really if we haven't got much done, they're going to be like, yo, what's going on here? What are you guys doing? So there's that consistency of them holding you accountable, keeps you holding yourself accountable, keeping everybody else holding, you holding everybody else accountable. So kind of like, from the top down, you have to create systems and set things up to where people are going to perform at their highest level. Like,
right.
I was just listening to somewhere where it said, like, one of the best inventions was the cash register, because it just kept good people honest, right?
Yeah.
So, if you don't have cameras in your liquor store, you're probably gonna not make as much money. Not to say that people, you set up a system where, like, you check on your contractor, you show up every week, or you show up twice a week, or you show up 3 times a week. They're going to have to perform.
Yeah, and sometimes you show up unannounced. I mean, those are the fun ones to do, because then they
you see really what's going on.
Yeah, then they panic a little bit. It's kind of fun, But I know, like, a lot of times we've done, like, surprise inspections. Like, we'll show up and everybody's, like, sitting down eating lunch or something like that, and they all like hop up and like start
they
having,
gotta start doing something.
And we're like, no, finish your lunch. Like, we just work. It's our lunch hour. That's why we're here. That's right. But it's pretty funny to surprise a contractor from time to time.
Absolutely.
And they I think they hate it, which is I can understand.
Yep.
Like, if they're coming every Tuesday, then you can already plan ahead. You can say, all right, before we leave on Tuesday or before we leave on Monday, let's make sure we have all this trash out of here.
You would at least think that most contractors want to do that, but it definitely helps to get that to keep the job site clean. If you know your client's going to be coming every week, then at least they're going to prepare to get the place looking good, knowing that you're coming. So at least for that week, it's clean, and then it's clean the next week, and And then as soon as you see things going south, then don't be afraid to cut your losses, because the worst thing you can do is just let a bad contractor keep going, because the more they start doing wrong and the more you keep paying them, then the less money you have to bring somebody else in to make those repairs. So as soon as they don't meet their deadline, as soon as something starts looking off, you need to just cut your losses, or give them like a certain amount of time to perform.
Right.
And I'm sure you've dealt with that, where if you don't cut your losses, you're better off cutting your losses, have the job sit there, bring the right person in, than doing something wrong and not good quality.
Right. And 100% of the time we've given the guy a break, and just said, you know what, all right, we'll let that one slide. Just keep going. Every single time we've done that, it's ended up biting us in the end.
Yep.
It's without fail. Because they're gonna start taking shortcuts other places too, and
That's
right. it's gonna hurt you, because you have to go back and do the same thing twice.
Yep.
One of the big ones, putting in a septic system wrong. Not doing the leach field properly or whatever. I don't remember exactly what they did, but we had to tear the whole thing out and put in a whole new system. That's a big cost.
That's a huge cost.
And we did not anticipate that. That's some of those things that happen. But anyway, we're getting pretty short on time, so I'm thinking you should probably plug yourself or something, right? Or are you looking for work, more business? Or are you good with your current volume?
No, I'm always looking for new deals. Looking for new joint venture partners, people out there looking to if they need help in their current projects that they're working on. I do a lot of creative stuff with different programs that I have and different resources that I have. So, I'm open to just seeing what's out there. I don't have anything specific to plug. I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. What's the YouTube channel?
It's Residential Resource Group. If you type that into YouTube, you can see all the videos. I also have a Snapchat, TC Contractors. You can find it there. And then I'm also setting up an Instagram, so I'll be doing some stuff on that.
And what if somebody wants to pick up a telephone and call you? What are they going to dial?
They're going to dial 714-227-4024. They can call me. I'm a mentor of the club, so if you got construction questions, give me a call, text me, and however I can help, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. What was that number again?
714-227-4024.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Danny Ruiz. But before we're going to sign off, we're going to mention the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club one more time, just because it's worth mentioning. If you are interested in becoming a real estate investor, or if you are a real estate investor and you just want to get to know other real estate investors, come on out to the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. We get together every fourth Wednesday of every month at the Mission Inn in Riverside, and we also do a coffee meetup, and we do a cash flow game. Cash flow was last night, so if you didn't go, you missed out. You'll have to wait till the first Wednesday of December, where we'll have another cash flow game. That's a board game created by Robert Kiyosaki. It's a lot of fun. You get to learn how to do creative deal structures and so forth.
Yeah,
so
it's a great game.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's fun. But come on, check it out. Go to meetup.com. Look up the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. Come meet Danny. Come meet myself. And want to thank you all for tuning in. So
thank you.
Yep. We'll see you all again next week. Have a good week, everyone.
All
Take
right.
care.
Take care.